Welcome to the Confident, Calm, and Clutch Car Ride Conversations. I'm your host, Valerie Alston, here to help parents and young athletes spark meaningful dialogue about mental toughness, resilience, and confidence. Whether you're heading to practice or a game or just running errands, this podcast is your go-to for building stronger relationships and lifelong skills, one car ride at a time. So let's dive in. Today's topic is the confidence formula. And what I mean by that is, where does confidence come from? What are the ingredients that go into someone having the ability to be confident in themselves? And in this episode, we're going to explore, is confidence something that you were born with? Is it something that you can build through effort and experience? Spoiler alert, right? Confidence is in fact a skill, and it's built up through very practical ways to include preparation, your practice, and practicing that trust in yourself. So let's talk about what creates confidence and then how parents can support your kids in developing it. So the first thing to understand is really, what is confidence? Most of us know that it's important. We know when we're feeling it versus when we're not, but what actually is it? So in most research, confidence is defined as the belief in your ability to handle a task or situation. So what that means is that you believe you are capable of performing in whatever scenario you're in. So as adults, maybe you're walking into a job interview and you're confident that you know your stuff and you can talk well about yourself. The kids listening, maybe you're getting ready to walk into an exam and you're confident, you trust in your knowledge and that skill set. In your sport, you're in a position maybe that you're very confident in, if the literal position you're playing, or you're in a game scenario that you're like, yes, we've practiced this a ton. I know I can do this, right? So it's the belief in your ability to be able to handle the situation. And there's kind of two basic types of confidence. There's global confidence, which is more about your general beliefs about yourself to handle certain situations. Like it's the confidence that you take in to any situation. And then we have skill specific, right? Momentary confidence. And that's specific to the task at hand or to what you're being asked to do. So for example, for me, I've been training this for a long time and believe it or not, I try to practice what I preach. So I'm a very confident person, right? You can put me in most situations. I walk into a room, I've never met anybody. I'm like, yeah, I've got the skills. I have no problems walking up to somebody and say, hi, I'm Val, right? I have a lot of confidence in myself to handle tough situations, yada, yada, yada. I'm very globally confident. However, I know there are specific skill sets that I don't have. So for instance, if you were to ask me, hey, you're going to perform brain surgery on this person to remove this tumor, right? I know for a fact that I can't do that. I don't have the skill set. So I have zero confidence in executing that right here, right now, that brain surgery successfully. However, I have global confidence. Hey, if you let me go to med school and like train how to do that, I absolutely believe I could do it. But right here, right now, zero belief in my ability to do that, right? So understanding there's global confidence that you're bringing into any kind of situation, and then there's that task-specific confidence. And that is something that you can work on both, right? Obviously, the global feeds the task-specific. And it's not about being perfect or always succeeding, because that's part of the confidence-building process, is knowing that you can handle failure, being able to do that trial and error, and like try a bunch of stuff and be like, okay, well, what's going to work for me? So it's not always about succeeding, but it's the belief that in general, you can handle those challenges and grow from them. And so think of confidence like a muscle, right? It grows stronger the more you use it, the more you feed it, the more you develop it. And so where does it come from? What are the general things that are going to fuel and feed your belief in yourself to be able to handle a situation, a task, a game scenario, whatever that is? So there's kind of four general areas that it comes from. Okay, one of them is your experience. And there's two types of experience. There's personal experience and there's vicarious experience. Personal experience is like you actually doing something. So you've done it, you've tried it, you have put in the work. And so this is where practice and preparation come into play. And in fact, the research is very clear that that personal experience bubble is the biggest factor in determining your belief in yourself. Okay. So the quality of your preparation, the way you prepare for a game, a test, going to have a first conversation, whatever it is, if you've prepared for that and you've thought through it and you've practiced the skills involved in that, you're going to be much more confident because you've got the reps. You've seen and lived the experience of doing that thing. Okay. So preparation, personal experience is your number one strategy for building confidence. And you've heard many probably athletes talk about this. I know Kobe Bryant was a big proponent of this. He was never scared in a game or worried because he'd practiced it so hard in practice that he knew, right? Same with Michael Jordan, all kinds of folks. All right. So the way you prepare is important. So, but it's also your game experiences and the lived experience of playing the sport or taking tests and all that. And again, it does not mean that you have to have been successful every time you've tried, but every time you've tried, you've learned something new about how to do it better the next time. Okay. Now, the other type of experience that we talked about, vicarious, all that means is that you've watched somebody else do the thing, do the task. Okay. And this somebody else, research shows it tends to be a little bit more effective if they're of a similar level, skill set as you, kind of up or down one level. I'm not a basketball player and I played softball, but if I were wanting to be a better basketball player, I would not immediately go watch Caitlin Clark. Because her skill set is so far beyond mine. Right? I might watch her for motivation and like inspiration, but I'm not going to watch her for technical because I am so far below her that I need to like watch somebody who's a little bit more close to my level. Just be like, okay, how did you take that 3-point shot? Someone who's not an expert, someone who's closer to my level. And so the act of watching people do the thing, right? There's a lot to be learned from that. So watching other people be successful, watching other people make mistakes. If you use that properly, it fuels your ability to be confident in yourself. I don't know if you've ever done this before where you've watched somebody else do it and you're like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it, right? So that's what we're looking for here is watching other people, which is great as a young athlete because there's going to be a lot of opportunities where, stuff happens and you get thrown into maybe a position in your sport that you're not used to playing. But if you've really paid attention to your teammates play that sport, you're like, okay, well, at least I know the basics, right? So those are the two big ones. Experience, personal experience, vicarious experience, watching other people. The other thing it's really important is your ability, in the research they call it arousal regulation, but the ability to control your body. And what that means is that you feel that your body's doing what you want it to do from the perspective of controlling your nerves, controlling your anxiety, your heart rate, and all your physiological functions. Typically, when people are nervous or their body is doing something, if they believe that, oh, okay, that's just my heart rate, I know how to bring that down, or like, if you feel in control of your body, it gives you that extra sense of calm and confidence, and I'm going to be able to execute all those things I prepared. Okay. Now we'll talk that's its own skill, quite frankly, and I'll talk about that in another podcast later. But the ability to control what your body's doing is really important, and that leads to a lot of confidence. And the other fourth place that confidence comes from is what we consider, it's called persuasion in the research, but really what it's referring to is your mindset. The way you're talking to yourself is the dialogue in your head saying, I can, I'm capable, I got this, or is it saying, I can't, I'm not able, this is too hard, right? And the way you talk to yourself is obviously going to influence your belief in yourself. And so that's one piece, but another part of that persuasion and mindset actually comes from other people. And so this is a big piece where parents and coaches play a big role here is how are you talking to your athlete? Is the language you're using helping them build their belief in themselves? Or is it adding doubt, fears, worry, right? Is it adding to their inability to have that trust in themselves? Okay. And so It's important to know that confidence is built over time. It's not something that you just like wake up one day and have. I mean, that might be true for some people that they're like, you're not feeling it today. In general, it is fueled by your personal experience, your vicarious experience, your ability to regulate your body and your mindset. Okay. So it's a process. It's not a quick fix. And it's okay for you to struggle with this as a kid, young athlete, because this is where growth happens. It's, understanding there's kind of these three zones: our comfort zone, our learning zone, and our anxiety zone. That when you're in your comfort zone and everything's easy, of course, you're going to be very confident because you're not being pushed, you're not being challenged, your skill set lies in there. The learning zone requires you to get out of that comfort zone, to try things that are harder than what you've done previously, to stretch yourself and to try new things, new skill sets, etc. And the anxiety zone is like me performing brain surgery, right? I know that I can't do that because I don't have the skill set. So when somebody's throwing you into a situation where you know you don't have the skill set, right, it's what we call the anxiety zone. So confidence, if you're moving through those three zones, again, it's going to ebb and flow. So it's natural and normal to have. We want to make sure that as athletes that you're able to start fueling your confidence with getting more preparation and practice, vicarious experience, being able to learn how to control your body and your mindset, the way you talk to yourself. And then adults also, we want to be able to make sure that we are helping them fuel those four sources. Okay. As the coaches, are we giving them the experience that they need to get in order to feel confident? Are we talking to them in powerful ways? All right. So we're going to dive into our conversations prompts for you, but just a quick reminder of the rules. Remember, there are no wrong answers. This is conversation and dialogue. Make sure you take turns talking back and forth and try to limit your distractions so that you can just focus on the conversation. Now, remember, you can pause after each individual question and talk about it, or you can just listen to all of the questions and discuss from there. So our first question of today, athletes, what's one thing that you've worked hard to get better at? How did practicing help your confidence? And parent, can you share a time wherein your preparation helped you feel confident? So again, you're just focusing on what's a time where you've seen those four sources, specifically your personal experience, fuel your confidence. Together, I'd like you to discuss, is there anything parents or coaches are doing that isn't helping your confidence right now? Okay. Is there something that they're doing that is really helping? Kids and parents talk together. You could even talk about your coaches if they're not in the car with you, that's all right. But getting specific about the adults in your life and what are the behaviors that are helping you build your confidence and what are the things that are not helping. Okay. All right. And your final question for today, what is one thing that you can work on together to help build your confidence? And maybe that's task specific or global, but what is one thing that you guys can work on together as a family or as a team to help you build your confidence right here, right now? All right, y'all. That's our conversation for today. Thank you so much for joining me on the Confident Calm and Clutch Car Ride Conversations. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Please share it with other parents or other coaches that you think could use a little extra inspiration on the go. You can join my newsletter at www.confidentcalmclutch.com/newsletter for exclusive tips, tools, and updates. Or if you're interested in building some confidence specifically, please consider buying my book, Confident, Calm, and Clutch, How to Build Confidence and Mental Toughness for Young Athletes Using Sports Psychology. And again, that link will be in the show notes. Remember to keep that conversation rolling, and let's make those car rides count. We'll see you next time.